Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a multi-class build guide for the Arcane Vanguard's ICEQUIVER multi-class with the College of Winter Spirit Bard in Baldur's Gate 3. The Arcane Vanguard just reached 1 million downloads on mod.io, so shouts out to Sathos for accomplishing that. And I just released the College of Winter Spirit Bard subclass here myself. It has 33 different cold-based spells and actions within this subclass. And honestly, these two multi-class really well together. They don't have any overlap, and the abilities actually complement each other quite nicely. So at level 1 here, you get your Ray of Frost arrow infusement. This is from the ICEQUIVER Arcane Vanguard. And this gives you the benefits of Ray of Frost, so you can kite enemies a little bit. You also get the Ice Knife Bow Shot here, which is a level 1 spell. You can throw a shard of ice that deals weapon damage and explodes doing cold damage. Create or destroy water. And the Frostwalker. Whenever you deal cold damage, you get Frostwalk, so you don't end up slipping on ice. We can also take the Bone Chill and Mage Hand cantrips. And for our spells at level 1, I like to take Mage Armor for just defensive purposes, but Command and Find Familiar are probably the two best choices here. We're also going to take a Fighting Style. Now, personally, the Blade Dancer works really well here because on the College of Winter Spirit, you get a special dual blade attack, or summon. So you get two blades that are quite powerful, but not brokenly overpowered. And this works really well because you get a free bonus action attack, or doesn't cost a bonus action to do your offhand attack, and you get additional damage on and gives you the Blade Dance Ready status. Now, the only downside is this is a multi-attribute dependent build because obviously we're building around charisma and our intelligence stat. But if you were to choose between one, I'd actually recommend building around your intelligence instead, as some of the Bard subclass abilities you can actually get by with a lower spell save DC. And there's always items like the Helmet of Arcane Acuity, which work extremely well here. So this is the stat spread that we'll go with. At level 2 of the Arcane Vanguard, you get the Vanguard Stratagem, adding your intelligence modifier to the attack and damage rolls. It's also nice to take Mage Armor there just for a bit of extra survivability, or the Armor of Agathis. Actually, that fits more thematically here. And we also get a Vanguard Talent. Personally, I really like the Focus Shatter, which you can break your concentration to deal additional damage, but Liberated Spellcasting, you can do a reaction cantrip. That's also quite good and fun to play around with, so that's my choice. Level 3 gives a subclass feature Frozen Sentry. When standing on a surface, you gain resistance to fire and cold damage and immunity to burning. And you get additional health points equal to your intelligence modifier temporarily as a bonus for standing on ice. You also get Gust of Wind and Misty Step spells there. And at level 2, I like to take Mirror Image here for the +9 to the armor class. We also get a Socialite skill here, which gives you your intelligence modifier. I'd go with the Constructed Argument for your Persuasion skill, because that's honestly really good. Now, once we get to level 4 here, we get to take another cantrip. Shocking Grasp is good for getting away. And we'll take, you can take Shadow Blade if you want. It's going to make you as strong as humanly possible. You don't have to, though. If you don't want to, you could go with something like the Branding Smite or Knock to skip some of the level 2 or Act 2 areas. Now, one of the first feats that's always nice to take is the Alert feat. However, we can go with an Intelligence Improvement here. That's going to give us better attack rolls and, spell casting, but I honestly like to go with the Alert feat just early on. Again, it's nice to be able to go first and then set up our surfaces so maybe the enemy will skip their turn. At level 5, we get the Vanguard Spell Weave. So you can take the attack action and then do a cantrip. So it's like attack, cantrip, cantrip, attack. You also get Sleet Storm and Grand Flight. And then on top of this, we get access to some different choices and spells here, with a level 3 Counterspell being the top priority and Haste also being very nice. But Counterspell is just really good. Now, at this point, you can multi-class in the Bard, but I'm actually going to go to level 7 and I'll show you why. Elemental Weapon can be kind of fun, but it is a concentration, so I don't fully love taking it. We'll go with Haste here. And for the extra Vanguard Talent, I really like the Student of War, which will power up your spellcasting. The Force of Arcana can be okay too. It's something you'd have to kind of build around and utilize. Basically, makes your range really short, but you get better spellcasting. And Vanguard Recovery can be nice for the spell slots. And I do make these smites, like my Bard has a smite spell, but it's a level 2 minimum, so it doesn't really apply here. Kind of fun. And then level 7, this is when I'm going to multi-class out. We get the Vanguard Technique when using your Vanguard Spell Weave. So basically we can do a spell and then do a bonus action attack. Really good. And then you get access to things like Wall of Fire if you wanted it. I think we're going to go with the Branding Smite. Sometimes there's enemies that turn invisible, and we do not want that. We also get Ice Storm and the Fire Shield Chill. Ice Storm being a really nice spell to have for crowd control purposes. And at level 8 here, this is when we're going to add in the Bard. Now, then we get our, I would actually recommend Vicious Mockery. In the face of the party, if you're the face of the party, Friends can be nice, or Minor Illusion. Mage Hand is nice too, but we took that previously. We're going to go with the choice of, if you don't have someone in your team with Longstrider, take that, but we'll go with the Healing Word, Thunderwave, Dissonant Whispers, and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Into level 2, we get an extra Short Rest and the Jack of All Trades to boost up our proficiency bonus. We can take Disguise Self so that we can use some Gith Yankee gear and then remove the disguise and look cool like we do here. Cool, ice cold. We'll also then take our College of Winter Spirit. So just a brief breakdown. At level 1, we get Bardic Inspiration abilities here, Snowball and Winter's Wit. So this one is like a Ray of Frost with less damage. This is like Vicious Mockery. They use your Bardic Inspiration, which is kind of, you only get 5 of it, so you have to be smart with it. You also get an Ice Cat here, Icy Missile, which can leave surfaces on the ground, Chromatic Orb, and the Conjure Cranberry Juice. Sathos is a big fan of cranberries as well. This is great because it gives you water bottles for your mage hand to throw, but also gives you a very potent heal. And then for the Winter's Harmony from the Bard subclass, I'd recommend taking the Chilling Feedback. This is good because basically if an attacker misses you with an attack, you can chill them, and then they'll take double cold damage with the next attack. Really nice. Level 4 gives us another cantrip. I guess we'll take the Friends cantrip there. And then we'll also add in the Hold Person. Again, Knock being really nice if you want something like that. And I really like to add in the Holly and Jolly infusements, which add additional 2 points of damage against targets that are illuminated. So this can just help us with our melee attacks or even our spell casting as well. And at this point, we can go ahead with, if you're going to be melee attacking often, then the Savage Attacker is a nice feat. But this is a ranged build, and we use bows. So I actually think the best choice is to go with Sharpshooter. This will give a -5 to attack rolls, but plus 10 damage. That is good, especially if you got an arrow of many targets, because you can apply that plus 10 to everybody. At level 5 here, we also get our Sculpt spells. This is from the Bard, because I add in things like Ice Beam and Ice Ball, which are evocation spells, which normally would hurt your team. And they also set up difficult terrain. This is great because we also, I didn't show it earlier, we got an ability to make our team not slip on ice. So everybody, not just us. And we also get the Ice Owlbear Cub, and there's an Ice Dog at last level too. We'll take Glyph of Warding here, and then we'll take the Jolly Infusement for 2 points of force damage. Just a nice combination, really enhances everything we got going on together. Now you just leave it at that. If this is I guess you'd take maybe 6 and 6, because the extra attack here is really nice to have. We're going to go to level 20 here. Now, at this point, we'll take Plant Growth because I didn't take it previously. It's really good to have. And also, since we're going to be doing some attack rolls, we may as well get the Ice Bite for increased critical hit chance, which in turn gives us an increased attack chance, or hit chance. Level 7 gives us the Aurora Smite. So this is a level 2 spell slot, unlike normal smites. So you use that and it'll actually burn through your spell slots a little bit quicker. It works like Smite. It does the extra cold damage. But the thing is here, you have to be smart with what you're using your resources on because you burn through them quickly with this class. We also get the 3 skeletons here, which you don't have to control. They're actually uncontrollable. They'll attack for you. Ice Storm, which we already have, and Sleet Storm. Now we also get access to things like Greater Invisibility, which are amazing spells, or Confusion. And we get more passives at this level. I really like the Evergreen Sting, giving us additional poison damage whenever we get healed. The Virtuoso's Aim gives you advantage against wet targets, so the Create Water from the Arcane Vanguard can help out here. I like the Bite of the Ballad here. So whenever you inflict an addition, you can apply Encrusted with Frost on the enemy as well. And the nice thing is the Ray of Frost arrows that you get from the ICEQUIVER actually will proc that. Now at level 8, the Aurora's Guided Arrow. So it's nice to have multiple sources of arrows because we can use these as weapon attacks. And this one uses your Bardic Inspiration. So again, you only get 5 of them, so you have to be smart with how you use it. But the reason I want to take this to level 8 here is this is when we get Ice Bow. So this is a bonus action bow. Conjure a Frost Forged Bow. And we get the Owl Bear, 2 great abilities. And then here at our next level, we can take things like Confusion. And for the next choice in passive, I'd actually recommend going with the Winter's Crescendo here, which will add additional cold damage whenever we do cold damage. We also get another feat here, and at this point, you could go with an ability score improvement on like your charisma or your intelligence. There's the lucky feat here, but if you want to use like a specific spell, I'd actually recommend going with either a charisma increase for the Bard spells or the intelligence increase for the spells from the Arcane Vanguard here. It's entirely your choice. The charisma modifier will give you things like your Ice Ball and your Ice Beam. So it's, again, entirely dependent on which spells you want to employ in this strategy. Charisma is nice too if you're the face of the party. At this point, we'll switch back to the Arcane Vanguard here, and we're going to continue on along with the spells. We didn't take Longstrider yet, so we'll take that. We also get another feat here. So I guess we could balance things out and put our intelligence up as well, just to kind of keep things perfectly balanced as all should be. Level 9 here, this is when we get our last subclass feature for this build. When you deal cold damage with a spell, you create an explosion around you, freezing the ground and dealing 1 to 12 cold damage to nearby enemies. This also gives us Cone of Cold and Mass Cure Wounds, and you could take Wall of Stone if you really like that spell, but Silence actually has some use on this, so we'll set that up, or False Life for a bit of extra health. Now at this point, I'd actually recommend to switch back to the Bard here, and this gives us our Snow Arrow ability, which will hit multiple targets with cold. I got some unique VFX there, Cone of Cold, which we already got. And then we can take things like Hold Monster and Dominate Person, Hold Monster being priority. Also unlock more passives here, so Rhyme Brand, whenever we deal cold damage, we can apply Encrusted with Frost on the enemy, and this is going to help us set up to freeze the enemy. Level 10 Bard gives you the Magical Secrets, which is really nice. So we get our regular choice in spells, but we also get some brokenly strong ones. That's just the thing. We could go with Hunger of Hadar for the extra cold damage. I like Spirit Guardians. You can also take Conjure Elemental. That does push things pretty crazy because the Water Elemental will apply Chilled for you. We already got my other favorite choice, Command, so you don't have to take that here. So I'm actually going to go with the Banishing Smite. This just gives us extra force damage, and we got Spirit Guardians there. The Winter's Harmony pass that we'll take at this level, I really like the Ice Wind Resonance here whenever we do a ranged spell attack. It applies Reverberation on the target. This can be good to help them with slipping and falling, and because it reduces their dex saves. We'll also take Deception and Intimidation proficiencies there. And at level 11, we get our Chain Ice Beam and Odaluke's Freezing Sphere, two of the best spells. I made this one here, but it's got custom VFX, so the chains will actually be cold beams that fly off of the target. Blink and you'll miss it. We can also take Ice Bite or Eye Bite there, and Ice Bite if you wanted to. But I like the Frosty Finality. Whenever you deal cold damage with a spell, you possibly can chill the target, which will make them take additional cold damage. And the number one most useful piece of gear is the Helmet of Arcane Acuity. When you deal damage with a weapon attack, you get Arcane Acuity plus 10 to your spell save DC. This is a broken item from the game, and we can use an arrow of many targets to proc that really quickly. And what's cool about it is we're going to be using the bow here that we got, and the bow does cold damage. Now I didn't make it super overpowered. It just does the cold damage plus the poison and force damage there. And then we also got the Sharpshooter extra 10 damage on top of that, which is pretty nice. And then we can also do the Ray of Frost Arrow Infusement there, which does additional cold damage, which is kind of cool. But always equip the Winter's Balance here. This is just to keep your team safe, because this is going to really set up a lot of surfaces here. Now, we get all the way down to the second last summon. We can't get the Snowman summon, but we're going to use the Ice Owlbear. Now, he is a big fella here, and really nice and polite. He will attack and do some cold damage attacks, 2d8 of cold. So he is kind of strong. You can use some of the other ones as well if you prefer using those. And don't forget to summon in your blades. Now, the nice thing is the bow. I made it so the bow will actually last past long rest, so you just have it forever. These here act like a shadow blade, so you have to summon them in. That's how I was able to make them look that ghostly appearance that you see on them there. All right, now for the first turn of combat, we want to set our gear up and get it procced so that we can spell cast and not have to worry. We have those Ray of Frost Arrow Infusement, though. They're pretty fun. So I'll just start off with one of these here. So you do the bow attack. We got a critical hit because of Ice Bite. Boom, you shoot it out like you got ice. And then we have our special ice blow-up attack there that will create that ice surface, and then anyone that's nearby will take that 1 to 12 cold damage from the Arcane Vanguard. We also get the reaction cantrip that we can use. We get the cold infusement there from the subclass. We got Frostwalk, so we don't slip and fall. We got Frozen Sentry, which gives us the resistances and health. And we also got the Arcane Acuity. Now, my recommendation, we also got this cool icy appearance, but my recommendation is actually to use an arrow of many targets. The reason being is when this bow in particular, we had the cold damage, poison, and force damage. So it's just a little bit of extra damage riders, and we're going to attack and bounce it around to multiple enemies. First attack, if it's a crit, it'll actually crit everybody. And then this actually gave us our plus 10 to our Arcane Acuity here, so that if we go into either of the spells, Arcane Vanguard, we have a 28 spell save DC, and the Bard, we got a 28 spell save DC, 26 to spell attack rolls. We land whatever we want, so that's great. We can then go ahead with landing one of our more challenging spells to use. I love Odaluke's Freezing Sphere just because of the large area of effect. And I'm actually going to be a little cheeky, and I'm going to take it up a little closer here. And we're going to do this because we actually can do that whenever we cast cold damage. We create a little explosion around us, which was enough to take them out. And yeah, that sets up so many surfaces because we set the surfaces and our spells do too. You could also use Ice Storm as well. And we look so cool. Now, the fun thing about this is with our subclass from the Arcane Vanguard, we can do an Ice Knife bow shot, and we can also do an Arrow of Frost with a reaction. So we actually have lots of options when it comes to damage. So I'll go with a Ice Knife bow shot here, which is going to create that terrain. So if I don't take them out, not a big deal. We critically missed. That's fine. It somehow just knocked them prone. I guess because it left the surface. But we also get that reaction cantrip. So Bone Chill, I'm just going to go with the Arrow of Frost attack there, the Ray of Frost. Really nice. We were able to take out one more target there. And yeah, we got surfaces set up. And what's great about ice surfaces is the enemies actually have to spend their movement speed to get back up. So this can be good for kiting them around if you want to run around. Like if you're on a very hardcore difficulty, this is kind of the fun way to do it. And we also got our Owlbear, which is claw attacks will actually push the enemies back, which is kind of fun. And that was nice. We were actually, if you can get them on ice, what's funny is you can actually make them run back through the ice. That actually hit for 26 damage. That was pretty good. Yeah, so that can be kind of funny in itself. Now, I also got the Snow Arrow ability here, which is like a lightning arrow, but it does cold damage and explodes like that. And we also have, anytime we do cold spells, we do that air of effect. And it's funny because it procs the Holly Jolly infusements as well. And I guess we'll just also use something like, we can do our throw a snowball here, and that'll probably actually proc the explosion around us too. So you can get kind of smart with your positioning on this. It is pretty sweet. And I guess I'll end off with an icy missile here. So no, actually we'll do a scorching freezing ray and shoot away with that. And it should probably pick up the kill. There it is. So yeah, if you want to turn everything into ice, this is the way to do it. This is the Arcane Vanguard ICEQUIVER multiclass with the College of Winter Spirit Bard in Baldur's Gate 3. If you found this video fun, please let me know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below, and we'll see you all in the next one.